Discourse 21. August 21, 1938, Oakland, California. Out of the glory of all the presence of life holds for you tonight, I greet you in the name, power, and the substance of light. Come with me into our great octave of light, and while these words are voiced to you, allow me to assist you through the power of your comprehension, to realize mankind is entering the gateway of freedom. The power, the glory of all which life has so long wanted to release into your worlds, is beginning to have the opportunity. It does not matter how much you want a thing brought into physical manifestation, if you do not comply with the law of life which produces it, still you do not have it. Therefore, tonight, it is my joy to render a service for you, and at the same time render a service for your city, for since you are citizens of Oakland and have your homes here, then you need more than just your individual freedom, do you not? You need the environmental conditions which make for your happiness. Beloved students, remember in all you call forth for yourselves, call forth the harmony, perfection, and outpouring of light from the presence of all life, to your city. In every city where there are 1,000 or more students, those students, if they but realized it, could by the issuing of these mighty decrees and calling to the presence of life, regulate all conditions in the city harmoniously and perfectly. You don't see that yet, but I assure you, we have proved it time and again. Therefore, in coming into your city for the first time, to establish the mighty outpouring of light here, to see the earnestness with which you have sent forth these mighty decrees, and the determination and steadfastness of it, you could no longer be denied. Please understand me, when I say to you, that when life within you calls, do you really realize what it means? You think you call of your outer volition. That is true, but what is it which enables you to call? It is the intelligence, the energy, the power you use, life in its all-powerful activity. Then, it is life which is calling. Suppose an emergency suddenly appears in your life and with very great earnestness and intensity, you make the call for help, for assistance, for release, for supply, then is it not life which is making that call, even through your outer volition? I say to you, beloved ones, when you understand all which acts through you is the power of life, then you see and know, you are the director. You must be the director of your energy, your life. The energy itself will not discriminate as you call it forth, but when you call your mighty I Am presence into action, love, wisdom, and power are acting in balanced form. Therefore, whether you outwardly understood the fullness of all which was required or not, your motive underlying would be correct. It would be right. When you understand the presence of life will not release energy any longer for destructive purposes, then you will understand why all destructive creations of individuals or conditions are rapidly becoming helpless to further interfere with or intrude upon mankind, to limit or disturb longer. The great cosmic light which is steadily being released to the physical world is doing a work words fail utterly to express. Only as you would see with the all-seeing eye within you, could you comprehend what I mean, because words do not convey it. Yet, I say to you, the achievement of the past 6 months, in the calls of the beloved students all over America and the world, is a service unparalleled in the history of the earth. As we, in the first meeting here, established these mighty currents of energy for you individually, for your city, and for all that is required here, we want you to feel all one. San Francisco, Oakland, Alameda, Berkeley, and all the surrounding environment, won't you feel just one? Won't you feel a great happiness through harmonious cooperation in all you call forth? To do that, means a power released which you would scarcely comprehend at this time. As you are calling for mankind's freedom and the protection of America, you are rendering a service, which intensifies your own individual answer to your requirements beyond words to explain. These mighty decrees, we have suggested for the blessing of mankind and the protection of America, are first, rendering a great service to the whole of mankind, and also rendering a great service to your environment, which must produce complete harmony and the release of all you require in your individual life. You have all understood and heard it presented from various angles, it is more blessed to give than to receive. That is quite true, if you understand what you are giving. Most of you interpret that to mean money alone, or the outpouring of love and blessings alone, or health, strength, courage and all those qualities which mankind requires, but it is more than just that. The call to life means absolute freedom, which your mighty goddess of liberty represents to America and the world. You will remember those great ones represent to you freedom, victory, and peace. They are more than just a thought, beloved ones. Those beings are real. Those beings have cosmic power and wield cosmic power. Therefore, in all you wish to have done, they are ready and willing when you give obedience to life, to charge your feeling world, which is your powerhouse, with the qualities they possess. The mighty victory is the power of victory in action in your feeling world. The goddess of liberty is the liberty and glory of life. The various other ones are freedom and peace. When you understand what the goddess of peace has done, which we shall mention during the class here, you will know it is a transcendent service. It could not have been done if the war entity of the world had not been consumed. She would not have come forth. Had she not seen and known this could be done, she would have remained within the great silence. Think of it, beloved ones. One whole hemisphere in the throes of the destructive power, the worst ever expressed upon earth. Those destructive individuals are using the great cunning of the black magicians, who are prompting them, urging these destructive forces on, and on, and on. They find their urging of little avail, for since the consuming of the war entity, there is no power there to feed and sustain them. Therefore the things they did easily and quickly before and where they found ready response, they are failing to find that speed of response today, and they are amazed. They cannot understand what in the world has happened, that their authority and dominion has suddenly ceased, and they can no longer influence mankind as completely as they once did so very recently. Think of it, you who have worked so earnestly and served so earnestly in these mighty decrees. Oh, beloved ones, never tire, never grow weary, because if you realize it is the power of your presence acting, you cannot be exhausted in rendering that service. I say to you, freedom is at hand for every earnest, sincere student. Don't let anything suggest otherwise or disturb your feelings, but in your great adoration and attention to your presence, know you are then and there, releasing the full power of life, which wants so much to give you its freedom. Why do we respond to your calls? Now notice this very carefully. Why do we respond to your calls? Not because of your outer volition, but because it is the power of your life which is calling, and all foci of life, which we are, and you are, must give obedience to life. You might say to me, how is it the great cosmic beings must give obedience to life? Because our attainment of freedom came by first giving obedience to life. Then, when your presence of life calls to us, is there anything in the universe which could prevent our answering your call? Think of it. Beloved ones, you are not any longer at the mercy of destructive forces or limiting conditions, because you have come to know life and its mighty focus, the presence of the mighty I Am, which beats every one of your hearts. Oh, don't think for 1 second your presence is not there, or that it is not mighty real. If your presence were not there, you would not be here. Don't forget it. That presence supplies you with life as the wondrous chart shows, and when you accept it in the fullness of your feeling, then you will have the answers clearly and more quickly, to your calls, as the messengers have proven. They receive instantaneous answers constantly to their calls today, but they did not 4 years ago. They called days and weeks, many times, for the victory of each call, but they stuck to it, until the answer came, and that is the position of all mankind today. When you start to make your call, stand by it, until the answer comes. Then, you will see how more and more quickly and powerfully will your presence of life answer your calls, until all of you too will have your answers instantly. That is the power and presence of life waiting and wanting you to have this great freedom, this great happiness. Think of it, beloved ones, in all the anxiety you have passed through, in all the distress, not one single part of it was ever really necessary. Because you had forgotten your presence of life and you gave all power to the appearance world, you suffered under those appearances, having misplaced your attention, having misplaced your vision. You accepted more, and more, and more, of limitations, giving more and more power to persons, places and conditions, which had no power to limit or disturb you, except, now notice carefully, that you fed your life stream into them by the power of your attention and vision, your physical sight. Think of it, and know that not one inharmonious, destructive or limiting thing can touch you or affect your world, if it cannot get your attention. It must have your life stream turned to it, in order to reach you. Many of the students do not yet see that. They know it intellectually, but in their feeling, they are not accepting the fact that what their attention is upon, they are feeding their life into it, to compel it back into their worlds. Please get this, tonight, in preparation for our coming class. You will hear things in this class, the laws of life, which you have never heard. I want you to be so joyous, so firm, so determined in your application in the use of the violet consuming flame, that you are ready in the fullness of your comprehension, to grasp everything which is said and apply it to yourself. Don't think what we say is meant for the other fellow. It is meant for every one of you everywhere, because it is the explanation of life. All we give is the explanation of your life. All your beloved Saint Germain has brought forth to you, is just the explanation, the application of your mighty presence, the law of life. There is not a thing unusual or mysterious about it, and oh, try to understand and feel that. Then, when you understand it, you will see how in your application, you are master of any condition which confronts you. In the experience of the messengers, as conditions arise which are distressing to mankind, when their bodies come into the environment, those conditions change. Sometimes that is necessary, so those conditions dissolve and disappear. Nobody can deny it, because it has been done many, many times, and the great numbers of students have seen it take place. Do not let anyone be foolish enough in thought to refute this statement, because it is true. Whatever the messengers have done, every one of you can do. Their happiness and freedom is complete. Therefore, when they call for something, it immediately appears. When you understand you are the authority in your world, and as long as you hold your life stream free from feeding into limiting appearances, places, or conditions, you will have the full glory of life. It will pour like a great river into your activity, to spread its mighty blessing to you. Try to feel with me now in your attention to your great presence, this mighty stream of light and energy which is beating your heart, animating your body. That is the power of the universe. It would assert its full power, if you did not interfere with it by discord in your feeling. Life would take charge quickly and naturally. You would not have to urge it since you have created about yourself these limitations of discord and all in your feeling world, the discord must be cleared away. It must in order to allow life once again to take its natural flow, and hold its dominion through your bodies to produce perfection in your world of action. Life will do it. Life never criticizes nor condemns you for your mistakes. It just waits. We call your attention to certain things, but we never criticize or condemn anyone. There is no one in the universe to judge you, but whom? Your higher mental body. It knows that perfection often presents endure imperfection. Therefore, it is the judge of you and your life. Yet, it never does for a single instant criticize or condemn you. This is why, beloved ones, in all the activity of life in its perfection, there is not one destructive thing. Then, what has produced destruction in your world? Mankind's qualification of the wondrous energy of life. Energy flows constantly. Do you have to call for action of energy in the use of life ordinarily speaking? You do not consider it, do you? You go to sleep at night. If you are feeling comfortable, you do not question whether you are going to wake up in the morning or not, do you? Now suppose you get scared on going to sleep, that you would not wake up. If you were scared enough, you probably would not wake up. You do not feel afraid to go to sleep. You trust life in some ways magnificently, don't you, but in other ways, you don't trust it at all. Notice. Is it not strange how individuals are constantly in conflict with themselves? They trust life so magnificently to take care of the body, until they have done something which produces inharmony there. Then they say, what in the world is the matter here? Not stopping for one moment to see, they were the only cause for it. It could not be in their worlds and could not act in the body nor in their worlds, unless they were its creator. Is it not very wonderful, beloved ones? Thank you, tonight, for your comprehension. Thank you. Oh, be clear and definite in your comprehension of these simple great majestic laws. I am preparing you tonight, for the great blessings which shall be yours, and I want you to feel them. I want you to see, how you alone are responsible in your world. When you see this, then I can help you, as you could not even imagine, to clear your world of all limiting discordant conditions, so, when you call life into action, you will have instantaneous mighty results. That is what everyone should have. There is not one of you who should not be able to make the call now and inside of 3 hours have the answer. Many of you are coming to this point now. Until it arrives, be firm and determined in your application, for that is the way you dissolve, consume and break down all of these conditions, which have disturbed and limited you. You cannot do it without your application. Don't think for one moment, life is going to do these things for you, without your application. The greatest need in the world today is the application of life. Individuals have had it before them in every conceivable activity, in the attempt to explain life. Think of it, in the old methods. Everything was made so mysterious. More and more subtle and cunning has become the remainder of human destructive creation, which we call the sinister force. Orders are being established, several of them in America and the world, where they say to you, when you enter the doors, you must take an oath never to mention one thing which goes on in here. When somebody says that, you had better turn and go the other direction. They are concentrating on America just now. Remember. Because you will be approached. Many of the I am students have already been. A thing which asks this of you is no good. Don't believe it for a second. I am prompting you, because I see it. Some of the students who took that oath and attended once, not a thing in the world could ever get them to return to another meeting. Dear ones, if you care to follow us, we will from time to time prompt you to keep yourselves free from the clutches of such things. We have urged the people to keep away from all things psychic, spiritualistic, astrology, numerology and all those things which breed and breathe limitations into your world. If you do not care to listen to us and then you experience unhappiness, remember we tried to help you. We don't say what you shall do. If you insist on going on with the things which limit and distress you, well, who are we to say you should not? You are beings of free will. We want to help you, but we cannot do it, if you do not want us to. We certainly would not intrude into your world in the physical, any more than we would intrude into your physical home without your invitation, or your friends in the physical world would. Oh, now and then one would, but most of them would not intrude, without your invitation. If you do not want something undesirable in your home, do not invite it. There are many ways of invitation. You can by the feeling, invite a thing. You can by the intellect, invite a thing, and you can by taking your physical body into an environment of the thing, invite it. You know the old statement, certain of mankind rush in where angels fear to tread. That is constantly going on among mankind. Would you, if you saw a building in your city where every immoral or destructive force and action was going on, deliberately walk into it? Not if you were wise. I say this to you, as students, knowing the power and protection of your presence. It is just the same as you, in your calling forth the presence and issuing your mighty decrees. If you do not balance that by self-control in your feeling world, you are not going to get the results you desire. Just because you issue your decrees and call the powers of the presence forth, it does not mean you will have perfection. You must make some effort at self-control, in order to balance the condition of the powers which you are calling forth, because they grow greater and the energy grows more powerful. Won't you see that? One thing, I want to say so very much, tonight, to the young people here and to the young people everywhere, when you come to know your great presence of life, and you begin to feel its great power surging forth in its expression of divine love, do not interpret it as falling in love. If you have felt or experienced inharmony in your home or your associates, then you find some person with whom you feel very harmonious. Always be careful and do not interpret it as humanly falling in love. That is perhaps the greatest danger among the students today. We have seen a number succumb to it. Stand guard, beloved ones. You can love just as greatly without caressing each other, as you can by holding each other in your arms. That is where mankind's danger is today. The outer world has taught individuals the very things which release the pent-up feeling of all mankind. It rushes forth and is uncontrollable, but when you understand how to govern and guard the feeling of kindliness and harmony which goes forth, you make it a blessing to others. Then you will never fall a prey to the sinister force, by the outpouring of your divine love to another. Remember. This is very vital. We want to forestall all of these things. Remember. The need has been so great for the protection of America, and also urgent, the messengers have not had time to take up these many things, except occasionally. So when we call it to your attention, just make a note of it if necessary, so you keep yourselves reminded of this particular activity. It means everything to you. If in your endeavor to pour forth divine love, it becomes qualified as human desire, then you have wasted your time and energy and must start all over again. Use this for an illustration, if you like. I am flashing these words to the messenger. My outpouring of divine love to you so far transcends anything you are yet aware of. There is no comparison, but could any one qualify my love in any way with the human? This is the way mankind should feel to each other. I say to you, gentlemen, if there be any one of you who cannot look upon women with a clean and pure desire, then you have missed the greatest blessing life holds for you. Ladies, if you cannot do the same thing, if you cannot look upon men without the human desire, then you too have missed the greatest joy and blessing of life. When you come toward the goal of attainment, all human desire does cease to be. Replacing it comes the greatest power of divine order, producing divine happiness, producing perfect action and direction of the forces of life and love through your being. That is why self-control in all things is necessary. There is love, wisdom, and power in the triangle of life. If you try to use one point of the triangle of life without balancing with the other two, you are going to have distress, for life is balance. Life out of balance means suffering. If you use power without wisdom to govern it and love to temper it, everyone will fear you and soon you would not have a friend. If you use the power of love pouring forth without wisdom to govern it, then it becomes human, or becomes humanly qualified and therefore misunderstood. Do you not see how in the lack of understanding of all life means, you have constantly been misusing that which would otherwise produce perfection? You have done this, by your lack of understanding and wrong qualification of the one mighty energy of life. Suppose, one of you poured forth a great power of divine love and blessing to another, and the one receiving would interpret it in human qualities, you would have lost the blessing completely. Do you not see that? See how mankind in the great energy which would so bless individuals, in their mistaken qualification of it have been producing the opposite effect of what they intended, if not at first, it grew into that. In this explanation, I am charging into your feeling world, the comprehension of it, the anchoring of my power to hold this sustained for you, if you care to accept it. I would not intrude, I assure you, if you do not care to do this. It is here ready to serve you, but I would like so much to set you free. If you care to accept it into your feeling world for constant action, I assure you before the close of this class, you will know what happiness and freedom mean. Freedom is not license, beloved ones. Freedom is the greatest consideration for the rights and blessings of others, and I want you to feel that tonight. Feel our freedom, which is the divine order of life, acting within your feeling world, the most beautiful thing. I say for your encouragement, to me it is quite wonderful. While I have been flashing these words to you, in your comprehension and acceptance the light expanding within your bodies, has sent forth its radiance. Now you feel gratitude, you feel kindliness and all that, so far as you are capable in the outer expression, but think how much greater is your light, which I see releasing itself, and going forth from within your physical body, how much greater it is. Then, do you not see, how we who are able to see the slightest manifestation or radiance going forth, are able to determine who is accepting? Do you not see, how we are able to determine who is accepting or who is not? To the degree you are accepting may we render assistance. All this is quite natural, only mankind has not believed it. Individuals have thought the great presence of life would flood them with every good thing without effort upon their part. In your requirements in the commercial world, you think you must labor so many hours, that you must put forth tremendous physical effort. Well, at the present, you do have to do so, but look at the great truth of life. If you would decree for your presence of life, to release from its treasure house the limitless supply of money, all else required for your service to the light, or whatever you wish to do, you would have fulfilled the requirements of life. If you reach out here through your physical efforts without that call, you will find yourself making more and more physical effort with less and less results. This is why, as the messengers have told the students throughout the classes, as long as you reach out to your fellow man for something, believing it must come from there, so long will you remain limited, and ofttimes more and more. Life has always wanted you to turn to its mighty focus, which the mighty I Am is, because it is your supply of everything which exists in the world. You may not quite see this, but unless the power of your presence acts through your human efforts, it amounts to nothing, as many of you have found. You work and strain and struggle with great stress in your human efforts, and barely have enough to cover your back and to feed yourself. That is not right. When nature has provided everything in lavish abundance for all mankind's requirements, what has happened, when some of mankind do not have abundance? Because they have been reaching out more and more to human beings, persons, places and conditions, expecting to receive from there. Turn to your beloved, mighty I Am presence, and I am now speaking directly concerning your money supply. If you will listen, feel and turn to your presence, accept it as the treasure house of your world, make the call to your presence, to release into your hands and use the money and supply you require, then the wisdom of the presence with its light rays, will reach out. Whatever channels the presence in its great wisdom wishes to use, will come to your assistance. There is nothing in the world can stop it. Oh, feel that, beloved ones, tonight. I want to see you free from these things which distress and agitate you so greatly. We look among mankind and see thousands of people committing suicide every year, because they do not have food and shelter. You cannot get away from yourself. Never cut off your span of life, thinking to be free. You only intensify distress, many-fold. Do you understand, beloved ones, all those conditions are mental? If you lose your body, which is your armor of protection to your feeling world, the distress will be far greater than it was before. So don't think you can run away from anything in life. Straighten up your spine and make your call to the presence. Then, if you are firm and determined, see how quickly it will clear your world and release into your hands and use whatever you require. There is not one in America who needs to be limited, if he or she would understand this law of life, which beloved Saint Germain has brought forth to you and apply it. It is so practical, the most practical thing in all life. You must see this, for it is life's great power acting, and only awaiting your call throughout these many centuries. Tonight, my joy is so great in being able to render this service for you, but not without your effort, because if you do not believe what I have said to you, you have cut yourself away from me, and I cannot help you. We are real. And tonight, as I stand above your building here, there is no building, no substance between me and this good messenger and yourselves. Does that sound queer and strange to you? You see the roof here, but to me there is no roof. There is nothing between me and you. Try to feel this in all rapid vibratory action of substance. As it raises in its speed of action, there is no obstruction. My vibratory action, being so much more rapid than yours and the building here, naturally there is no obstruction to my radiance through it, my presence through it. When once mankind comes to see and understand this law, individuals will see how there is no necessity for limitations or distress of any kind. Let us help you during this class to let the full power of the light of your presence flow into your being and world and direct you by its mighty intelligence, hold you in its mighty invincible protection, and charge your world, your feeling world, with our power of divine love which cannot be humanly requalified. Won't you accept it in your individual decrees? Charge forth the outpouring of the Ascended Master's divine love in your call to your presence, to bless your friends, associates, and mankind. No one can requalify our love humanly. Then our divine love pouring forth will do its perfect work which you wish for each one. This is how you are the director of all you call forth, and it will produce exact results. If you do not understand your power of qualification to do things constructively, the energy will act otherwise. What may be the result? You are in a position, understanding this law now, to know what to do and how to do it. With your determined application, exact results will be produced, as exact as mathematics. The messengers have proved this so conclusively to the world. There is not one constructive desire in your feeling world, which cannot be supplied or granted, if you will do these few simple things. Think of it, the desires of 20 years of these messengers have been fulfilled. Because they have served mankind so earnestly, so willingly, so obediently, they have opened the doorway to the instantaneous answer to their calls. Beloved ones, do not accept any longer there is a person, place or condition which can confront you, limit you, or deprive you of a single thing. Such opposition cannot exist if you do not accept it in your feeling world. Now train yourselves, because you cannot move in the physical world today, without looking upon these things to some extent. For instance, you see an accident, so-called, and you immediately feel tension and distress if you don't know this law. If you do know this law, when you see an accident occur, instead of being disturbed, you call to your presence with a great calm sincerity, to render its service to bless all there. Then, your presence projects a mighty light ray into that condition, and will bring perfection out of it, which you could not even imagine. This is how it acts. Now remember, the old concept has taught the people that they receive premonitions, they receive promptings of this, that or the other thing, which is going to occur. My dear people, please understand and see these promptings were given to prevent the thing occurring, instead of accepting it to act in your world. This is where mankind has made such great mistakes. Constantly through their feeling, individuals have been receiving promptings, but they do not understand them or know how to interpret them. Then, they say, I am due for an accident, I am due for a loss. They accept it and of course it will take place. Instead of saying, when they receive a prompting, thank you. That will not take place in my world. Then it would never take place, it could not. Unless people refuse acceptance to such things and apply this law, they are constantly allowing limiting things to have greater power over themselves. The messengers today, at the slightest intimation of the thing say, you have no power. Get out. And it gets out. You may do the same thing, if you will, but the moment you begin to accept a thing in your feeling, you are giving it power to act there to disturb, limit or distress you. It is not necessary, dear ones. Be alert, be determined, and the first thing that confronts you, which would have heretofore frightened you, say, oh no, you frightened me once, but you will never frighten me again, for you have no power. If you would do that, you would see such a thing shrivel up and your courage rise. You would know definitely, it had no power to frighten, limit, disturb or deprive you in any way. When these two messengers became aware of this, what joy filled their beings. At the least intimation today, of such suggestions about the nation or individuals, they stand and say to each appearance, you have no power. Be thou dissolved by the power of the mighty light rays. Therefore a service is rendered, which you could not imagine. If I were to tell you the actual truth of the service they have rendered the nation, by their individual decrees in this manner, you would be the most astounded people. It is being done constantly. Therefore, beloved ones, you can do the same thing. The messengers still have physical bodies like yours, perhaps the vibratory action is a little more rapid, but they are still physical bodies. In their great loving, willing obedience, they have been cleansed and purified, until the power called forth from the presence finds no obstruction, and it rushes forward like a mighty avalanche to answer their calls. So let it do for you the same thing. You must be as firm and determined as they have been, and you will have exactly the same results, because life makes no mistakes. Mankind does, but life never. Therefore, as you give obedience to life, then life will serve you in the fullness of its great power. Just for a few moments, will you still yourselves? Don't cross your feet or hands. Just make yourselves willingly obedient and open to these great currents of energy, as I call them forth, to pour through your bodies, your feeling world, so this service may be rendered completely for you tonight. I speak directly to the mighty I Am presence of each one. I command the higher mental body of each one to release and pour forth the mighty current of the unfed flame through and under the feet of each one. Hold in its mighty action the violet consuming flame so all impurity may be washed out of the human body, out of the feeling world and into the mighty violet consuming flame, to free these beloved ones tonight. Render this service so powerfully, higher mental body of each one, that they may feel it now, and awaken in the morning, glorified by the power of the light which beats their hearts. With its mighty courage, strength, and power flowing through, may each be a world of such happiness, courage, strength, the full power and feeling of their dominion over all conditions. Then nothing longer obstructs the way in their feeling world, to this mighty presence of light, as it flows forth to perform its service for them. We stand in the presence of life as its mighty power and currents of energy are flooding forth now into and through your bodies, sweeping out all imperfection. The light, when you call it forth, knows no opposition. It flows in, through and around your physical body, through your feeling world, dissolving, consuming and sweeping out every limiting discordant, destructive quality which has been acting there. Then, as you remain harmonious accepting this, qualify it eternally sustained in action for you, so it may render this perfect service. When you retire tonight, going to your peaceful wondrous rest, which you shall have, call your presence of life, your higher mental body, to release its mighty current of energy while your body sleeps. Then, there is no resistance. Charge it with the perfection of life. Qualify it to dissolve and consume every discordant thing which has ever been there. Then, as you awaken in the morning, remind yourself with the joy of all life that your great blessing is joy. Its mighty action and perfection manifesting in you and your world, filled with the glory of all life holds, in its mighty stream, as it flows into your body, beats your heart and gives you action. We thank you, mighty presence of life, for answering this command, for holding it sustained forever, until each hour, each day. Greater harmony, greater perfection manifest within the body, the mental and feeling world of each one, charged with the glory of all happiness which is the perfection of life, now and forever sustained. I thank you.